In every facet of life, having a strong core is always going to benefit you. However, with that being said, we have to make sure we target the core directly. And now you can do things like sit-ups and all the other basic exercises, or we can do something that is going to challenge you a little bit more, take you out your comfort zone and produce better results. So without more being said, let's get into the exercises. So the first exercise is going to be hanging knee raises. Now you can see my setup with the power rack. You're thinking, why is there a bar here? Well, this bar here is to help to keep our back stable. So if you have a weak core or an untrained core, what this is going to do is going to help to keep you stable in the position while we bring our legs up. But before we get into that, let's talk about the hanging knee raises themselves. Now, a lot of people perform this correctly and they target their hip flexors rather than their abs. So this is what we don't want. We don't want your knees just coming here, because that is just targeting the hip flexors. Where you may think that you're hitting your abs, you're not. So we take it to the next level. We want to make sure that we're getting a nice crunch. So we really have to work the spine in this position and also the abdominals. So we want our body and our knees to come up like that. So essentially, we're getting that crunch at the top of the movement and then come back controlled. And that's why we want the bar there, because a lot of us are not going to be able to get that crunch while maintaining the body position that we want. We're going to be swinging back and forth, and that's okay in the beginning. That might happen. However, because we have the stability of the bar, it allows us to really focus on working the abdominals, and then we come back and we're under control. Now let's say you don't have a bar and you still want to do the movement, not a problem. You would just have to focus a little bit more on keeping your body position correct. So it's the same movement pattern. We're still crunching up, but it is going to require a lot more core control and stability. So if you have an option to use a bar, do so. Just make sure you got some padding to protect your back. If you don't, you could always get someone to stand behind you while you're doing it, if you're a partner, to make sure your core stays or your body stays in the right position. But we want to make sure that the spine is involved in the movement to ensure the abs are getting the work that it needs. So just to bring you guys in a little bit closer, as you can see, we're getting that crunch there. Come back down. Come back down. And once you start doing like that, you'll really feel your core activate. As I said, what we don't want is you here, because we're just working the hip flexors there, you ain't gonna see a lot of ab improvement, nor will you feel any abdominal engagement. But when we take it to the next level now, or we perform them correctly, should I say, you really feel the abdominals working, and they're gonna get bigger, stronger, thicker, and more powerful. Now, the next exercise is a little bit more advanced, maybe intermediate advanced move, but I want to challenge you guys, I want to push you guys, and this is going to be hanging windshield wipers. Now, if you've never heard of them, I'm going to demonstrate how you can perform them. So, obviously, we're going to be hanging from the bar. We bring our legs up. And we just work from side to side. Now that is really going to work the obliques in the transverse plane and work on that rotational core movement, strength and stability. It is not easy, but I challenge you to try it. Maybe just 1 or 2 reps either side, but it's really going to take your core to the next level. So just to demonstrate again, and depending on how strong you are will depend how your hand placement is. You can go neutral grip, you can go wherever you feel the most confident and the most strong. Just come here. Just like that. Now, ideally, you want to do it in a bar with a bit more space. I actually need a bit more space to perform this movement, but it's all good, and it is very tiring. You can hear me out of breath. However, very, very good movement. Now, if you can't do this hanging from the bar, is another option for you. If you're struggling with doing them hanging, no problem. Again, it is a very, very advanced movement. What you're going to do is bring yourself to the ground, and we're going to do the same movement pattern, but perform them on the ground. That way you have a bit more stability, because you can use your arms out to your side, but still going to help work on that rotational movement within the core, still hit the obliques, and then gradually you can build up to doing the hanging ones. So there's two options that you can do. There's no excuse. Try the hanging ones first, I would say. If not, start with the floor and then gradually build yourself up as you get stronger and stronger. The next movement we're going to do is some tucks on the gymnastic rings. Now why we do it on the rings, well, one, just to make it a bit more exciting, challenge your stability a little bit more, and it's still going to hit those lower abs, and this will also attack the hip flexors as well. So what you're going to do is put your feet in the rings like so, bring yourself up basically into a plank position like that, and then we're just going to crunch just like that. I want you to really feel that crunch in the abdominals, but again, we're making sure the pattern is under control. We're not swinging, we're not swaying. Really gonna challenge the isometric strength in the core, the arms, and everything else involved. So it's a quality movement that you can do. Now, as I always say, invest in some gymnastic rings or maybe some TRX straps or a suspension trainer so you can perform this movement. Now, obviously, if you don't have rings, then you could easily just do a movement like mountain climbers, single foot or even double foot like that to still challenge the core. But if you have the equipment and the space to do so, definitely try these ring tucks. They're fun. They will allow you to scale them. There are different movements that you can do past these, maybe one leg at a time, holds, longer holds, things of that nature. So try them out and see how you like them. Final movement that we're going to be executing, it's going to be a front lever tuck hold. A lot of you guys would have seen the front lever if you follow a lot of calisthenics pages and things like that. However, if you can't do a front lever, what you're going to do is practice doing the tuck, but it's still going to build amazing strength in the core and upper body in general. So what you're going to do is find a low enough bar like so, and we're just going to bring our body into this position right here. Really focus on keeping the core tight. Hold that for a few seconds. Now this is a bit different from the other ones. This does focus a little bit more on isometric strength compared to doing a direct movement with a lot of range of motion. So try this out, challenge yourself and see. You might have to use a resistance band in the beginning, but I think most people should be able to hold a front lever tuck hold for a few seconds. Just to give you an idea of what it looks like from a different angle. You can play with your feet a little bit to see where you can best hold, but the idea is to get gradually stronger and stronger over time. This one is a little bit more taxing on the upper body compared to some of the other movements, but it's something for you to try regardless. Alright people, those are the 4 core exercises I have for you for today. I know I said in the last video that you should be scaling up with weight when it comes to your core exercises, but that depends on the difficulty of the movement. The movements I just shown you guys, a lot of people won't be able to do for high reps, so these movements won't require weight off the rip or maybe for a very long time, but will still challenge the core enough to improve it, get it stronger, all those things that we want. But I hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.